And we're live. So welcome everyone. Today is another edition of Cooking Our Meal Plans. I'm Asher Cowan, CEO of Dr. Cowan's Garden. And today we are cooking I think it's the Thursday meal for this week's meal plan. It's chicken marsala with, the recipe called for fingerling tomatoes, but we didn't find any organic fingerling potatoes. So we went with Yukon Gold potatoes, and we're going to make potato wedges with them. So I'm going to start off, I cut the potatoes into wedges. I'm going to get them into the baking dish. Get some olive oil on there. A little bit of salt. Some pepper, and I'm going to add some leek powder, and a little bit of pepper salt. Stir them up and get them into our preheated oven at 450 degrees. Next, we're going to start with the chicken marsala. So let's get the pan heated up. And we are going to brown the chicken marsala in the pan, and then we're going to get the mushrooms and scallions and garlic sauteed in there afterwards, and then we're going to combine them at the end. So again, if you're just joining us, my name is Asher Cowan, CEO of Dr. Cowan's Garden, and we're cooking our one of the meals from our meal plan that we sent out last week. So we sent out a meal plan that includes the recipes and a shopping list for the entire week. We send it to everyone on Thursdays, and it's a great way to help you prepare with your meals and cooking and meal prep for the following week, and we hope it adds a lot of value. So I will be jumping into the chat on Instagram. That's at Dr. Cowan's Powders. We are live on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is Dr. Cowan's Garden, and Instagram at Dr. Cowan's Powder. So if you have any questions, I'm monitoring the Instagram chat. So if you have any questions, please enter them into the chat function there. So we're going to be making a few adjustments to the recipe that was sent out last Thursday. First, I didn't find any organic fingerling potatoes at the store, so we went with Yukon Gold, and with those we're going to make potato wedges, and we have them in the oven right now. They're going at 450 degrees, and they'll be good when they're done. All right, so let's get on with the chicken. Sorry we're a few minutes late today, folks. I know we're a little bit late most days, but that's all right. So I'm going to get some butter in the bottom of the pan. I know the recipe calls for ghee. I didn't have ghee, so we're just using butter. And now I'm going to get some salt and pepper on my chicken. This chicken was given to me by my neighbor Wesley, and the more local your food supply is, the better. So got our chicken in, and let's turn that up a little bit. Thank you. What kind of mushrooms are we using? We are using baby bells. So I don't think the recipe called for marsala, but I don't know if you can have a true chicken marsala without some mushrooms in there. So I had some, and we're gonna go with mushrooms. So these chickens are, this was a big chicken, or big chickens, and these breasts are gonna go a long way to feeding a lot of people. So let's get some salt and pepper on the other side, and we'll let that cook for a little bit. So thanks again everyone for joining. My name is Asher Cowan, I'm CEO of Dr. Cowan's Garden. I'm cooking the Thursday meal from the meal plan that we sent out last week. The meal plans include 6 recipes for the following week, plus a detailed shopping list for every single ingredient that you're going to need to cook an entire week's worth of meals. So we're hoping that it adds a lot of value to people's lives. I know a lot of people do meal prep and try to plan in advance their meals, and I think that's a great thing to do because it gets you organized. You're shopping for the ingredients that you need, and you're not sort of wasting food. But it can be time. It can take a lot of time, and maybe you don't have maybe you need some help adding a variety of dishes to the menu. So let us help you with that. We're creating 6 different dinner recipes for the week, and they're sort of integrated together. They work really well with each other, and we add a wide variety of dishes, a wide variety of ingredients to the dishes that you can use and play with, and it's a great way to really help take the load off your plate, and helps you create really delicious, nutritious meals for you and your family. So we're hoping that it adds a lot of value, and my job here is to sort of demonstrate the cooking, but also help to maybe make some adjustments. So maybe you weren't able to get one of the ingredients. Maybe you have something that you want to add, but it doesn't really fit in one of the recipes, and you shouldn't waste the food, obviously. And so my job here, or what I'm trying to do, is help you incorporate some of the things that maybe weren't on the menu and you want to add them in, or that you have. Maybe you're a part of a CSA, or you grow your own vegetables, and you have some things that the recipes don't call for. We're going to give you ways of incorporating them into the meals. So we got our chicken going here. The potatoes are in the oven. They're at 450 degrees. I'm hoping they will be done soon enough. And I'm going to check the bottom of my chicken, and we're going to let that sit for a little bit longer. So I'm going to get the herbs from the cabinet right now. We're going to add, in addition to the vegetable powders, we're going to add some herbs to this dish. Some tarragon, oregano, and thyme. So thanks again for joining, everyone. We are live on Facebook and Instagram. I am monitoring the chat on Instagram. That's at Dr. Cowan's Powders. So please, if you have any questions or just want to say hi, please do so in the Instagram chat. And I think we're ready to turn these. Got a nice little brown on them. Now, some recipes for Marsala will call for a breading or a flour, coat on the chicken. I didn't do that in this case. I'm just going to reduce the liquid down once it's in the pan to make a thicker sauce. let's get some of these other vegetables chopped up. I already chopped up some shallot. We're going to get the rest of it chopped up now. And we're also going to add some garlic. So again, for those just joining us, we are doing the Thursday meal from the meal plan that we sent out last week. We send out a meal plan every week, every Thursday. The reason for Thursdays is because we want to give you time to shop for the ingredients and do any prep work that you might want to do for the following week. And it's a great way to sort of take the burden off you for thinking up and creating all the different meals for you and your family. So we got our shallots chopped up. Next we'll chop up some garlic. Oh, good. So what powders are we using in the meal today? So I already put some leek powder and pepper salt on our potatoes that are in the oven. And we're going to be using kale powder, threefold sweet, and root medley in the Marsala sauce. Now these will also have the effect of thickening the sauce up. So it's sort of a flour substitute in that sense, but it also adds a nice flavor to the sauce. I can see that my chicken is about ready to be turned. There we go. Alright, so we're just going to let these cook down a little bit more before we get our mushrooms in. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. Right now we are live on Instagram, that's at Dr. Cowan's Powders, and live on Facebook, that's Dr. Cowan's Garden on Facebook. And today we're cooking chicken marsala with potato wedges. And part of our weekly meal plan menu. It's our Thursday meal from last week's meal plan, or the meal plan that we sent out last week. And it's just a great way to be able to incorporate different dishes and have a real plan and strategy for how you're going to cook meals for you and your family. We're hoping that it adds a lot of value. We're trying to give people a wide variety, but also be mindful that people are looking for health, nutrition, and also good flavor when they're cooking for their family. So thanks everyone for joining. If you have a question for me or just want to say hi, please do so in the Instagram chat. That's at Dr. Cowan's Powders. Just gonna get these on, or leave these on for another minute, and then we're gonna take them out and add and cook our mushrooms and shallots in here. Is there a substitute if you don't have Marsala wine? That's a good question. I bet there is. You know, sometimes I just like cooking in white wine. Um, it won't give you the Marsala flavor, but it also pairs really well with exactly everything here, with the mushrooms and everything. Can you talk a little about how your vegetable powders work, how they are prepared, and are they just as nutrient dense as the real thing? So that's a great question, and the answer on how they're prepared is it depends, and unfortunately. So it depends on the vegetable. So for example, kale is better eaten when it's cooked, and so we take that principle and use it and apply it to all our vegetables. So kale is better if you lightly blanch it or steam it. It sort of softens it up, makes it more tender, and it also cooks off some of the anti-nutrients, like some of the oxalates that are in raw kale, and makes it makes the nutrients more absorbable. So we essentially get the vegetable to where it should be eaten, stop that process, and then sort of freeze it in time with these jars. So this is just about as good as eating fresh kale. Now, it's not quite as nutrient dense as fresh kale picked directly from the garden, but it's pretty close. We dehydrate on low heat, so we're not cooking off any of the nutrients, and they're preserved in these beautiful mirror jars, which actually enhances the properties of whatever's inside by letting in the UVA light and blocking out all the other wavelengths of light. So thank you for that question. Hope that answers it. Yes, dandelion powder is back in stock today. So thank you for noticing. She must be on our email list. But yes, sherry wine, that would be a good one. All right, so let us get a little bit more butter, and when I mean a little bit more, I mean a lot more butter into the pan, and we're gonna cook our mushrooms. So one thing to notice that at the bottom of the pan is like this brown stuff. This is where a lot of the flavor is. So what we're gonna do when we cook things down is we are going to take up that flavor from the bottom of the pan and bring it into the food. And I'll show you how to do that. Let's get our shallots in there too, and our garlic, a little bit of salt, and pepper. We are going to let these cook down for a little bit, and the mushrooms are going to absorb all the moisture from the butter. And don't want to lose that. I'm even going to add some olive oil here. Do you have a specific salt you use to recommend for optimal health? Yes, and salt is actually one of the most important things to sort of get right. I'm reminded of a conversation that I had with someone who probably knows the most about food of anyone I know, and she said that if you're gonna spend money on one thing, have it be salt. And so, salt is a key nutrient. There's a lot of different minerals in salt that are basically essential for optimal health. And what I recommend and what I use is Celtic sea salt. So now that we also added salt to the mushrooms, and that gets them to release the moisture. And what that also does is it helps us take up the flavor from the bottom of the pan. So instead of the pan being brown with sort of the stuff from the chicken, that is now on the mushrooms and will be in the sauce that we make. Oh, you're welcome. Yes, thank you for the question. Yeah, salt is very important. And there's sometimes a stigma around salt, but I think that has more to do with the kind of salt that you're eating. So the bleached table salt that we're used to getting, that is like how it is because it's supposed to fit through a salt shaker. That is not something that we recommend eating. We recommend Celtic sea salt, and that's the salt that's in our pepper salt. I mean, there's other good salts too, but for my money, nothing beats Celtic sea salt. Who is the person that knows the most about food that you know? Just curious. Sally Fallon. She is the president of the Weston Price Foundation, and she knows more about food than just about anyone. Real salt makes everything taste better. Yes. In fact, you almost can't get anything to taste good without salt. So if you're on one of those low salt diets because your doctor told you to do so, they probably aren't aware of the differences between regular sodium chloride that you find for 99 cents at the grocery store and real Celtic sea salt. Do you have a brand that you recommend for the salt? Yeah, Celtic sea salt. I think that's the brand. But yeah, if you just use a search engine and type in Celtic sea salt, I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. I think the company is Selena Natural, but I'm not sure. So let's check on our potatoes. Maybe they need a... Potatoes are coming along, so we are going to add our wine. We're going to add our vegetable powders. And I know it gives, we are, pretty precise with the recipes on our website, but that's just not my style, never has been. So I just kind of go by eye and taste to see how much powder I want to add. So this is going to thicken it up a little bit, sort of in place of the flour that we would use on the chicken that we didn't use this time. How long does it take to cook down alcohol and just leave the flavor? That I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that question. What's the shelf life on the powders, and do you have a good amount of recipes to offer using them, and can we view them ahead of time? So the shelf life on the powders is, if they're in the jars, we say 18 months, but it's really longer than that. The jars really do a great job of keeping, preserving the freshness. And so, I would be comfortable going, well above 18 months, even into 2 to 3 years on those. But, if you're like me, you'll use them up a lot quicker than that. And we have lots and lots and lots of recipes. So, as I mentioned, and what we're doing now, and now I'm going to add the heavy cream to the sauce. And we'll let that cook down a little bit more. Can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, tons of recipes on the site. Multiple recipes for every product that we sell. And what we're doing now is cooking our meal plans. I'm cooking one of the recipes on our meal plan. So we have, this is the week number 7 of our meal plans that we plan to offer every single week this year. And in those are recipes for for 6 days of the week. So essentially every week we're providing at least 6 dinner recipes, full dinner recipes, and then we have multiple recipes for every powder on the website. All right. So next and probably last thing I'll do is chop up the green onions and get these in there last. I like to add the green onions or scallions last. Have them mostly raw. And then I think our potatoes are just about done, so I will take them out now. Maybe another minute. Let this cook down. Almost ready to plate. Yes, we are. Just about. Yeah, so thanks again for joining us, everyone. Again, if you're new to this or new to us, we send out meal plans every Thursday. The meal plans include 6 dinner recipes for the following week, plus a shopping list. So you'll have everything you need to execute on your cooking for the following week, including the shopping list and everything else that is needed to go into the dinners. They are inspired by sort of nourishing traditions, philosophy on food and cooking. and they're very delicious and very nutritious. Dr. Cowan, you haven't aged a day. Well, I still have all my hair, so that's something to be thankful for, I guess. All right, let's get the potatoes out. I believe they are ready. Maybe not quite as brown as I would have liked, but that's okay. All right. And got a piece of chicken on there. And I didn't bring this. And there we go. Chicken Marsala. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know now. Right. And if not, we will see you again next time. So thanks everyone for joining again. My name is Asher Cowan, CEO of Dr. Cowan's Garden. To sign up for our meal plans, to get them delivered to your inbox every week, go to our website, drcowansgarden.com, sign up for our newsletter, and you'll get these wonderful meal plans every Thursday, and it'll have you covered for not only your meals, recipes, but also your shopping list for the entire week. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.